We're back at Impact Field here, top of the second inning, game 3 of this 3-game set between the Dogs and the Railcats. And I've got a very special guest up here with us here in inning number 2. I want to welcome to the press box here Jay Bell, father of Brantley. Jay, welcome.
Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it. It's good to be here.
This is obviously your first time at Impact. What do you think of the ballpark?
It's been fantastic. And not only that, y'all added Wayne Messmer on the first day, which was fantastic. It's a lot of good memories with him singing the national anthem and announcing names there at Wrigley.
Yeah, we have Wayne in here for special occasions, and opening day is obviously one of those special occasions. And yeah, I mean we've been told some really nice things about Impact Field over the years. It's a great place to watch a game, and the players seem to like it.
Absolutely. Well, I look out there and you see it's a fair ballpark, and that's what's most important, I think, for everybody.
As we got John Baker back out here for his second inning of work. So I was talking to so yesterday, you've been here all weekend, and Friday just sort of taking in the festivities and stuff. Yesterday you were down in uniform throwing BP.
Yeah, I had a chance to throw a little BP to the guys, and had a blast doing that. And of course, I've known Stu for probably 40 years or so, and just spent some time with Jeff was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, it's we welcome everybody, and we're glad you're having a good weekend. Obviously here to watch Brantley, and you had a chance to talk to Brantley sort of about his initial impression about Impact and just about the team and the organization.
Well, the thing that he loves most is the fact that you're going to get great fan support, and that is that extraordinary. Whenever you're standing out there on the field and you're looking in and you see this type of fan support, and I know this is opening the opening series, but from what I understand, y'all get good crowds all year, and so it's very encouraging. He loves it. Of course, he and Michaela and the kids are having a blast.
It's a ground ball to Pavin Parks at short. So John Baker 4 up, 4 down here in the early going, and he's had some success here in the first couple of games, couple of doubles. What from a because I know once your playing days were over, you went into coaching. So from a coaching perspective, what are you seeing from Brantley here through a couple of games?
Well, I'm seeing a lot from the entire team. It's again, I watched in first impressions. So of course, I watched the broadcast a few games during the preseason, and to be able to see them game 1 and game 2. This is a team that's going to win, I think. Not only do they have really good pitching, the defense is terrific, and I think they're going to be a really good offensive team too.
As there's a fastball strike, nothing in 2 quickly here to LG Castillo. LG last night, all the offense for the Railcats, home run and a single, couple RBIs. But yeah, so far this Dogs pitching staff through 19 innings now, only 2 earned runs, 20 strikeouts. They've looked really, really sharp here through 2 games.
As a baseball purist, I loved the first two games. It was really well pitched from both sides, and of course, as a little biased, I was happy that that the Dogs got the win for sure. But whenever you have that type of pitching, you have that kind of pace in the games. That's the kind of things that you really enjoy.
Yeah, we were talking to Jeff about it in his office before the game. That not only were they wins, but they were clean wins,
yes,
right? You weren't looking at a box score and seeing 12 runs on 14 hits and 3 errors. It was no errors in 2 games, clean pitching, timely hitting.
Absolutely, Aaron. One of the things that you want to do is you want to give that opposing team 27 outs and no more.
Here's another ground ball to Parks. They need to try somebody else. Paving over to first, picked over there by Jacob Teeter. 2 quick outs here in the second inning.
That was another thing too. You sit there and you watch. Again, the pitching's been fantastic. We've had timely hitting also, and but the one thing that has really stood out to me is the defense. The defense. Again, they're not making any mistakes. 27 outs is what you're trying to give your opponent. And as I look around that field, they're going to be the balls are going to be gobbled up.
Yeah, the infield defense for the Dogs, not just the infield defense. Johnny Turbo made a diving catch out in center field last night, but on the infield, Dusty Stroop, Pavin Parks, Brantley, and Jacob Teeter over at first have all made difficult plays here through the first couple of games. And
yeah, absolutely. When I last night Dusty made the bare hand play at third base. That was terrific. Of course, Jacob did it's rare that I stand on my feet and clap for anything, but whenever I saw that play the other night
on Friday,
the diving play at first base by Jacob, that was fantastic. And it's just whenever you have that type of infield personnel, the pitcher's going to feel better about themselves. They're going to get more outs because they just know that they can allow contact. They don't have to worry about striking everybody out. Whenever you have that, now you're shortening a game because it's quick pitches in the zone, or quality pitches in the zone, and quick out. So it's been fantastic.
And obviously, you as a middle infielder for the majority of your career, you probably appreciate what you're seeing from Pavin and the rest of this Dogs infield here.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit more about it on the other side. That's 6 up, 6 down for John Baker. We're through an inning and a half. No score at impact. All right, we're back here for the bottom of the second. I'm still with Jay Bell, Brantley's father. And Jay, we were talking in between innings. You were throwing BP. You threw a little bit of BP yesterday. And really one of the players who stood out to you as somebody who's not in the lineup here today is Anthony Calarco.
Yeah, Anthony's going to be a really good player. Unfortunately, Jacobs at first base is an excellent defender. Yeah. And it's going to be tough to take him off first base because a first baseman – means so much to the other infielders. They can feel like that they can make a bad throw and that guy's going to pick him up. And he's shown already. He made some great footwork the other night on the ball up the line a little bit. He's just so good.
Here's Narciso Crook stepping in. Narciso added to the Dogs roster on Wednesday. He's 2 for his first 5. So, yeah, I mean, you spent 16 years in the major leagues. Do you have a Chicago memory that stands out for you?
I loved coming into Chicago, and of course, when Harry was alive and Steve Stone, we're doing the broadcast. It was such a huge thrill for me to back in the day. They used to do post game with the player of the game, whether it was a home guy or an opposing guy.
Yeah,
and it was always an enjoyable time to talk to Harry and to talk to Steve, and so that was a big thrill for me. One of the things that I remember. The Wrigley used to take a beating. Their grounds crew used to take a beating for the quality of the infield.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it was slow on the grass and fast on the dirt.
Crook bangs it to left. Castillo turns, watches, and there's home run number 1 of the season for the Dogs. It's off the bat of Narciso Crook, and the Dogs jump out in front here, bottom of the first.
Yeah,
1-0.
Narciso's going to be a fan favorite. There's no doubt about it. He is a really nice player. I've known him for a long time. He and Brantley played together in the Reds organization. He's a phenomenal human being and a good player.
A low fastball, that was out on a line. That's not one of those towering fly balls. That may have dented that brick wall out there in left field. Dogs with a 1-0 lead. Their first home run of the season comes in Game 3, bottom of the second. Jay, continue.
Yeah, and so there was a couple of years there where they really got on top of the infield, and the infield dirt was fantastic, and the grass was fantastic, and it was just a pleasure to play on it. And so I mentioned it in a post game. I happened to be the player of the game. Mentioned it in the post game, and the groundskeepers at the next day came to me and really appreciated it. So it was just something. It was one of those things where you acknowledge something that's excellent about an opponent, and they will appreciate it. Whether you still want to beat them. There's no doubt about that. But it's respecting your opponents, and it doesn't matter who it is within that system. In that case, it was the groundskeepers, and whenever you give them a compliment, they really appreciate it.
What was your favorite infield?
Well, it's my favorite field overall was Chicago. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, all right.
But it was just because of the aura of going in there, right? So it'd been around for 100 years or more, and you just going in there, you felt the presence of the players that had played 100 and something years ago. But my favorite infield, probably whenever I played in Arizona. Arizona was a terrific infield.
He had a lot of success in that ballpark. That 2001 World Series, scored the winning run. I mean, that's got to be something that sometimes you played in Major League Baseball for 16 years, but you still every once in a while got to pinch yourself. And did that really happen?
Yeah, it really was, and that was we were close a few times, especially whenever I was with the Pirates. We in 90, 91, and 92. We played in the LCS and played really good baseball against the Reds once and the Braves twice. They went on to the World Series. And
as David Mayberry hits it up the middle, Marcos Gonzalez is there, double clutches, but in time to retire David for the first out here in the second.
But it was such an awesome opportunity to spend so many years in between championships. So I finished my high school. I graduated high school in 1984. Went straight to rookie ball. We won a championship in rookie ball, and then it was another 17 years before I got a chance to win another championship. So to be able to
hard hit by Jacob Teeter back through the box. Look out. Tiedemann gets out of the way, and Jacob Teeter picks up his third hit of the season, back up the box. Dogs with the one-out base runner.
But he is. I tell you what. Talking about Jacob, that swing right there is perfect. Just that. I mean, I know that's a two-hopper through the infield. For me, that's a line drive type of swing.
Yep.
It's a flat swing through the zone. He's going to be really productive too. But anyway, to go to have 17 years in between championships was a long time. Made it that much better whenever we did win that championship. And what was interesting about that time too was the fact that my during the World Series, my wife, my kids, my mom and dad, my brother, I had friends that were there, and they got to experience it and be part of that that World Series championship. And as I finished up we finished celebrating on the field, then the family started coming down. Yep. As I saw them, a lot of them, they had tears in their eyes, and it really was the first time, Aaron, that I realized how much what I was doing was how important it was to my family, and it was just such a surreal thing. But it was a great opportunity, a great thrill. And pleased if I had the opportunity to experience it.
So you hear all the time, professional athletes talking about how you need to really savor that moment because you don't know when you're going to get another opportunity, right? I mean, you won a championship in rookie ball. You had an opportunity in the early 90s. You ran into those buzzsaw Brave teams, and all of a sudden 2001 rolls around, and you're in your mid to late 30s, and it's been a decade and a half since you've had the opportunity to do it again. It had to be just that much sweeter knowing that you were at the end of your career and you had the opportunity to relive it rather than maybe at the beginning and then going 15 years after that without getting an opportunity.
It really was. And, that was the thing. So whenever I signed to an expansion team with the Diamondbacks, I was really excited about it. And then I got, whenever I flew from Tampa to Phoenix to sign my contract and to be part of to watch the expansion draft, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what did I do? Because I was nearing the end of my career. I was expecting to. I wanted to win a championship. And unless you're Derek Jeter or Reggie Sanders or Tom Brady, those times are few and far between.
Right.
And so, whenever I first went there, I was excited about it. I questioned it, and then I met Jerry Colangelo. And when I met Jerry Colangelo, and he talked about his vision for winning a championship, I realized I made the right decision.
It didn't take long for him to put that team together, did he? Between Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling, and it didn't take long for that team to come together. Really,
it turned out great. We started it. It was I was there as the original Diamondback, and then Matt Williams. We traded for him in the expansion draft.
Yep.
So the two of us kind of set the tone for the organization, and then we added Luis Gonzalez and Steve Finley and Reggie Sanders and Mark Grace, and again, you mentioned those two.
There goes Teeter off for second, and Jacob steals second base. Throw into center field, but he'll hold up there, and that's something you don't normally see out of somebody's Jacob's size, 6'4", 230. He's got that speed as well. Picks up his first stolen base of the year.
I think that's one of the things Jeff's wanting to do. I think he wants to be real aggressive on the base paths this year, and I think he's really going to. I think you're going to see a lot of it this year, so I'm excited for him.
We saw that last night as Nick D'Alessandro tried to score, or 2 nights ago rather, tried to score from second base on a wild pitch. I asked Jeff about it. He said, "It was my idea. I hope we were okay." Because I asked him if he was okay with that type of aggression. He said, "Yeah, I'm the one who sent him."
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, you saw Pavin Parks have a stolen base. Brantley had a stolen base the first night. There's a Johnny Turbo had one yesterday, which is fantastic.
Here's Blake Grant Parks down the right field line. Carlos Rincon is there, and he not able to make the catch. Looks like he slowed up a little bit as he came to that foul line. The ball will land foul, so Blake will get another opportunity here with Teeter at second with 2 away. So in 2001, when you won the World Series, all three of your kids were born at that point, right?
Correct.
So you had everybody there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, you talked about I'm a father of 4 myself, and you don't realize until you realize it, you don't realize how what you do impacts your children.
Yeah, it really, it really is, and that was one of the things that I had the opportunity to bring the boys down to the ballpark on a regular basis. They loved it.
Blake Graham Parks goes down. Swing and hang with me for another half inning.
Sure will.
Love it. All right, we'll be back with Jay Bell, top of the third. Dogs with a 1-0 lead. We're back at Impact Field. I've got Jay Bell here with me for another half inning, and Jay. When we stepped away, we were talking about sort of that relationship and sort of how your kids have experienced your professional career. And one of the things I found really, really interesting was yesterday I was watching Brantley essentially throwing BP to Brady.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Brady's kid's a powerful swing. That kid, about 2.5 is first pitch swinging. Narciso Crook is there to retire Marcos Gonzalez, 7 in a row now retired by John Baker. So he was throwing BP to Brady. But then after that, he was playing catch with you.
Yeah.
And I found that so neat because you had 3 generations of Bells down on the field playing the game of baseball together.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I understand about this organization too. They're family oriented, which is great, and that's I'm hoping that will continue. This is a terrific place. It's always a thrill for me. It was always a thrill for me to have Brantley out, pregame, and to be able to stretch with him.
Yeah.
And to play a little catch or hit or whatever it was, and to watch him from the stands, watch him with Brady, it's just a lot of fun for me. And of course, I like my grandkids way more than I do my kids.
Of course,
anyway.
that's how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely, I like my kids a lot, but my grandkids they're a little more special for sure.
Do you have any sort of unique memories of any of your 3 kids in the clubhouse with you or anything like that stands out?
Yeah, Brianna didn't get to go into the clubhouse.
Right.
Just being a girl, it was kind of tough. But Brantley and Brock both got the opportunity to go in and hang out in the clubhouse, that kind of stuff. It was always enjoyable to have them around. And of course, the organizations I were in were family friendly, so a lot of the kids were in, so they got to play with one another, be out on the field and shag during BP, and with Brock, I ended up playing some, getting to be a ball boy and a bat boy whenever I was in Cincinnati, and so he got to experience it in a different way.
As Andres Noriega both strikes out and throws his bat down the third base line. That's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Baker. 8 up, 8 down here for John.
So they got to, so I get to watch them enjoy the game as much as I did. From a kid's standpoint, and whenever I talk to people about Brantley and Brock in the clubhouse, the managers and the coaches that they've had, they said they understand the boundaries.
Yeah.
Because they were there, they understood that the players have a job to do. Make sure that you don't get in the way of their job. You can still have fun, but really honor them and what they're trying to accomplish, because all these guys are wanting to be the best that they possibly can be, while still enjoying the game for the game's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And again, having the opportunity to meet these guys yesterday, I was really impressed with this group.
Have you had a chance to see Brock play this year? He's in the Reds organization right now, right?
I am headed there on Tuesday, heading down to Dayton on Tuesday.
Okay.
It's nice to, I got a direct flight into Columbus, and we'll just drive down to Dayton from there. And so really excited about seeing him pitch. Hopefully he'll get a pitch a couple times while we're there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So once you're done traveling and seeing the boys, are you still coaching?
I was until a couple years ago, and I was with the Angels, and they wanted to go in a different direction, which was fantastic. I've been pretty particular about the teams I've talked to the last couple years, and nothing has come of it. But my golf game's gotten a lot better, so pretty excited about that.
Well, that's great. As Sierra flies it out to center, Johnny Turbo is there. We'll make the catch shy of the track. And Jay, thanks so much.
Aaron, appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and go watch Brantley.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
All right, we'll be back bottom of the 3rd inning. Dogs up by a run.